So we have become democracy police, isn't it? Because tonight we can report that whilst we congratulate the cabinet of President Mahama, John Mahama has broken the first promise of his campaign 2024. Good evening, welcome to the show. Felix Ofosu-Kwesi today has announced the President Mahama's decision of who and whom will be part of his cabinet. 19 ministers from cabinet as dictated by the Republican Constitution of 1992. John Dramani Mahama, President of Ghana, with a good heart, made this statement during the campaign. At least 30% of my cabinet will be women if elected in 2024 elections. That was September 2024. President John Dramani Mahama, the elected president, said this, that 30% of his cabinet will be women. Today, Felix Ofosu-Kwesi announced the women, and unfortunately, President Mahama could not make the promise. Why are we all failing in this promise? Professor Mills failed in this promise. Nana Akufo-Addo didn't quite promise, but he became a gender champion, trying hard to push women in. But Nana Akufo-Addo didn't have a cabinet of 30% women, but he was the African gender champion. The question we are asking civil society today is that why are our politicians eager to promise that they will do something for women? Is it because the demographics shows that women have more voters? Because all our politicians promise that they will do something for women, they never are able to do it. I don't think President Mahama didn't want to do it. I'm sure when he arrived at the office, the circumstances dictated otherwise. So this is what he said. 30% of cabinet will be women. We announced to you tonight that he's broken his first promise. Now let's see why. Okay, it's here again, captured by GH1. 30% of my cabinet will be women. John Mahama, NDC flag bearer. Within the first 14 days of my presidency, I will nominate my cabinet, 30% of whom will be women. First 14 days of his presidency has also been missed. Cabinet was announced today, and so President Mahama, but that's not important. We can leave that. What we are concerned is how come that President Mahama, who really wanted to do this, was not able to do it? Is it that his party doesn't have enough women? Is it that there are not enough women he could have nominated to have 30% in his cabinet? I don't know why. The women groups should come and ask him why. Okay, so this is the cabinet. Congratulations to K. Salatu Forsen, Finance Minister, Mubarak Muntaka, Interior Minister, Kwabena Minta Akando, Health Minister, Dr. Omane Boama Edward, Defense Minister. And then you have Dominic Ayini, Attorney General, John Abdullahi Jinapo, about whom we have a conversation tonight. Tonight, we have a big conversation with John Abdullahi Jinapo coming up as our second story, so just wait for it. John Jinapo, congratulations. He is Minister for Energy and Green Transition. Idrisu Haruna, Minister for Education. Elizabeth Ofosu-Ajare, Minister for Trade, Agribusiness and Industry. She is one of the women. And then Samuel Okujeto Ablakwa, Minister, Foreign Affairs. Emmanuel Amako Fibua, Minister, Lands and Natural Resources. Eric Opoku, Minister, Food and Agriculture. Please, has the cocoa price thing stood, or is there, what is happening? Eric Opoku got a bloody nose when the chief executive of Cocoa Board, our own Randy Abe, told him that, Minister, stop misinforming people. Stop that. Tonight we'll deal with that story. Minister says 70%, Cocoa Board says stop misinforming people. That was on Tuesday. We don't know the latest. We'll find out. There's a cabinet meeting today, and I'm hoping that cabinet has something to say about that. All right. Next is Samuel Nate George, who is Minister for Communication, Digital Technology and Innovations. And then the list continues. Kwame Govins-Agbodja, who has a very special relationship with Metro TV and GH1. He's Minister of Roads and Highways. Ibrahim Mutala Mohammed, Minister for Environment, Science and Technology. Ken Ajay Gilbert is Minister for Works, Housing and Water Resources. Ahmed Ibrahim is Minister for Local Government, Chieftaincy and Religious Affairs. Then the next woman is Agnes Na Momolate. Congratulations to her. She is Minister for Gender, Children and Social Protection. Joseph Bukari Nikwe is Minister for Transport. Abdul Rashid H. Pelpo, Minister for Works, Housing and Water Resources. So at the end of the day, there are 2 women out of 19 ministers times 100%. The answer you get is 10.526 or 10.53. This is the broken promise of John Dramani Mahama. Sorry, sir. It can be very, very, very difficult. We know that you wanted to do it. Perhaps as part of your 4-year term, we'll get to the point where you'll be able to achieve this objective. But for now, this is a broken promise. I saw the MPA boss, Edwigi Tamaklo, write out a full script about why Joyce Bauer is qualified to have a bag because she has been practicing law. And then I cringed. I said, this guy, is he serious? The people you've been talking about, have you forgotten what their credentials are? What are you talking about? Joyce Bauer today has been practicing law. Why are we not in this country? What is he talking about? That Joyce Bauer is practicing law so she can... What is he talking about? Joyce Bauer of yesterday is this. And Joyce Bauer of today is this. She was practicing the law before the yesterday. Joyce Bauer has been practicing law for 20 years. Before 2018 and 19 and 21 and 22 and 23. She has been practicing the law for 20 years before then. That was this. Today she comes into government because she's won election. It is this. And Tamaklo is telling us that if she was practicing law, it should have showed here. It shouldn't show here. If Joyce Bauer was practicing her law and therefore she is okay to buy expensive ladies' bags, it should show here. It shouldn't show here. This is after government, 1,900 pounds of bag that she was holding 2 weeks into government. 2 weeks, 1,000 pounds. So after 4 years, how much? Hallelujah. 2 weeks, 1,000 pounds, Joyce Bauer. 2 weeks, 2 weeks government, 1,000 pound bag is holding. This is Joyce Bauer in opposition. Where is the 1,000 pound bag? Nobody should come and give us that. I have a story to say about declaration of assets. The assets that they declare, that the constitution doesn't say we should publish. What is the point? That's for Tuesday. That's what Tuesday is coming. I'm doing a research on all those who have published their assets, ministers, Article 71 appoint. I'll bring it out. And I'll make the point that what is this if we can't find it? But that's later. So if Joyce Bauer was declaring her assets, and please bring Joyce Bauer, let me finish. If Bauer was declaring her assets, and this bag was not in the asset, but it shows up 2 weeks after government, 2 weeks, so 14 days per 1,000 pound bag. If you were holding a 1,000 pound bag already, it's okay. When I was going to watch football at Manchester State, they said I've stolen airport money. I was able to demonstrate that in 2014, I've been at Old Trafford from long ago. So everybody kept quiet. You can't tell me that you were practicing law or you were a corporate lawyer so you could hold a bag. We can listen to that. But you have to hold that bag before the election, not after. Or you have to hold a similar one before the election, not after. If you are not holding a similar one before the election, the social media police in Kofi Nyako, Samuel Brian Boabin, they will get you on this one. They will get you because they will bring the picture. Now Joyce Bauer does video, she's not holding bag. She will speak the truth. You hold bag. Joyce Bauer, you hold bag again. You will hear it because you said Samira shouldn't hold back. You won't hold back. You will never hold back between now and the end of the tenure. Otherwise, go and bring this bag. This one, that's the only one we know. Go and bring it. If you take another bag, we'll tell you the cost. We'll tell you where you bought it. Selfridges. We know there. We will show you where you bought it. The democracy has come. The chickens have come home to roost. When you run a campaign like that, it will bite you in government. Ransford Jampo's issue about the 10% is that President Mahama showed up. Yes, thank you, President Mahama. I think it's a good thing. Let's clap for President Mahama for leaving his job at the Jubilee House and showing up to go and negotiate with Labour Union only to give them 10%. What did the leaders of the Labour Union get to agree on the 10%? Ransford Jampo should come and tell us. He was alleging that when Akufo-Addo was there, Labour unions were collecting bribe. That's what Ransford Jampo was alleging. They were collecting bribe to conclude a negotiation at 30%. Today, Labour unions didn't take bribe and concluded a negotiation at 10%. And Ransford Jampo says President Mahama showed up. So that is good. Why must President Mahama show up? President Mahama must do his work as president. He's supposed to give the Labour unions and the Labour people a very heartfelt reward for the work that they've done for Ghana. 10% is woefully inadequate. 30% we said was inadequate. 10% is good. Austin Gama said that 10% is too much. Can you imagine that? Watch Ransford Jampo again. He was alleging against Labour leaders that they have taken bribe to accept 30%. Have a look at it.
Dear Ghanaian workers, I'm telling you, in the negotiation of base pay, rethink the caliber of people you send to go negotiate for your interest. Because some of the people, if you allow them to continue to lead you, they would remain rich and you remain poor.
Allow them to lead you, they will remain rich and you remain poor. He was alleging that Labour Union leaders have taken bribes from Akufo-Addo to agree on 30%. Today, Labour Union got 10%. 10. Not 30, 10. And they haven't taken bribe. Today, the response is, oh, President Mahama is great. He himself went to the... Why is President Mahama? Professor Jampo is a professor. He understands systems. He knows that President Mahama need not be there. If the negotiations go well and Labour get what they want, President Mahama need not be there. Should President Mahama be jumping from negotiation meetings with labor union, negotiation meeting with CLOSAC, negotiation meeting with teacher union, negotiating meeting with nurse union, negotiating meeting with doctor union. Our president, elected under Article 58, should not do that. Here's Austin Game. Labor consultant Austin Game has described government's recent approval of 10% wage increase for public sector workers as excessive, warning that it could exacerbate inflationary pressure. This is the kind of thing we see here. Civil society, hypocrisy. This is the hypocrisy we see. 10% is too much. 30% is only good. 10% is too much. If it's President Mahama, he shouldn't do too much to affect the economy. If it's President Akufo-Addo, even if he does 100%, it's not good. Hypocrisy is this. This is total hypocrisy, and we should abhor it. For example, my friend and Austin Game, you should stop that. Do your work, and let's see what happens. Don't try hard to make something black gold. Black is not gold. Gold is not black. Orange is not yellow. Yellow is not orange. Yellow is yellow. Orange is orange. Austin Game says that the 10% is too much. He thinks we've forgotten what he said about the 30%. That 30% was only reasonable. Oh, it's reasonably good. Oh, it's just reasonable. He hasn't done it. It's just reasonable. 10% is too much. What hypocrisy is this? Total hypocrisy. I've never seen some before. What is this? Austin Game describes 30% increase in public sector base as reasonably adequate. Then put a 10% there. Austin Game says 10% is excessive. What? Even class 9-year-old person will look at this and say, who is Austin Game? What is this? This is how we run our politics in Ghana. This is it. We are ready for it. Everyone should be ready for it. Because I like what the lady said on Joy, that the democracy has now arrived. We will not allow the government to do anything they want with our power. Now, we are suspecting that the PDS arrangement is going to come back. That's the same arrangement. It's going to come back. And we are worried about it because this PDS thing is very dangerous. And the MPP, the NDC campaigned that the MPP should have kept the PDS. I don't know whether people remember when they call it PDS scandal. The PDS scandal was that government said we cannot go on this PDS thing. These people are bringing some insurance that is questionable. I don't want to say much about that because it's before an arbitration panel. The PDS have sued and the ECG are with them in an arbitration panel. The government of Akufo-Addo strenuously argued that the insurance something, I don't want to say it because it's before an arbitration, that insurance something should be looked at. You know, I'm just using mild words. And so that's before arbitration. Now we get the sense that this whole arrangement is just a way that NDC is back to power, so PDS back. What is PDS? Get some friends of the big politicians, bring them in. They have formed a company called PDS. The company doesn't have a leg in Sudan and doesn't have an arm anywhere, but they form it anyway. They come, ECG signs a contract with them. They take over everything ECG, and they say they are doing billing, collection, and repayments. They will be given a sum of money, and then they are gone away. They share with the politicians, and that's what they call corruption. Corruption in high places. Corruption without tears. Corruption with tears. That's what it is. There's nothing more, nothing less. This is what it is. What is standing at ECG that as soon as the government arrives, the first pronouncements they are making, we are going to sell ECG. Where is the crisis? Ask the minister, where is the crisis that we are going to sell ECG? We are going to, a socialist government comes to power and the first thing they do is not to give free SHS food. It's not to give water. It's not to talk about national health insurance. We are going to revive the national health insurance. The socialist government comes and they are doing privatization. Are they a capitalist government? What is happening? Are they a capitalist government? A socialist government arrives in Ghana. The first thing is we are going to sell ECG. Sell ECG for what? Why? Why do you have to sell ECG? If you ask the minister what's happening in a meeting today, it was almost fights. It was blows. The union says, no way. Show us how, what's the problem with ECG that you want to sell it? It is just cronyism and making money. That's it. People have come to power and they think that, actually, bring our friends back. Let's cut a deal and do something. You know, that's what they're doing. The government must explain what is wrong with ECG now. What is the privatization going to cure? From what the PUW are saying, the privatization is going to cure nothing. It's just going to make the lives of Ghanaians worse for a government that has run on the back of social contract a left-wing government comes into government and privatizes ECG, please tell Ambassador Kwesi Pratt and the Socialist Forum that I'm going to hound them until I hear their view about this ECG privatization. Because if this was happening in MPP era, Kwesi Pratt would be on Good Morning Ghana and say that we will never allow the privatization of ECG. He would have said it. Today, his daughter is in the office of the vice president. Government wants to privatize ECG. Kwesi Pratt says he hasn't heard it. Kwesi Pratt has not heard that the government of the NDC wants to privatize ECG. I have been following Kwesi Pratt for 25 years. He's a socialist. He's against privatization. And I'm telling you that if this was MPP, you come on Good Morning Ghana, he can even come on Good Evening Ghana. We will not allow the privatization of the ECG by the government. The workers of this country are going to rise up against it. That's what Kwesi Pratt would have said. Today, we have not heard him. We have not heard anything from Kwesi Pratt. Electricity Company of Ghana is being privatized. Socialist Forum says they haven't heard it. We have heard it, and we are going to say what we have to say.